hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Hey guys, welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. I have 4 new coastal fall DIYs to show you, all using supplies from the Dollar Tree, and I do have a thrift flip. So we have leaves, acorns, pumpkins, so cute, and totally coastal farmhouse. So I can't wait to show you how I put all of these together. So let's get started. Check out this reform that I found at Dollar Tree. I've never seen this one before. It's like a gold leaf, and I thought this would be perfect to make a coastal wall hanging. It's got that beautiful structure of the leaf, and I thought we could make it even cooler by covering it in some of the Dollar Tree rope. I'm going to use the brown rope for this one today. You could also do it with any of the white ones as well. I'm going to hang this kind of on a wider surface, and so I kind of wanted the brown to contrast. And you could even mix and match like 2 different colors of rope together as well if you'd like. So the structure is all there. It's just a matter of covering it. So all of these little stem pieces here, the leaf structure, I'm just cutting a piece of rope that will fit just inside that, leaving like that middle line of the vein there and the outside. So I have plenty of room to cover that in rope as well. So these pieces are a little shorter. They don't go end to end. And I just went ahead and cut them all out, and we can start putting this together. It's so easy. All I'm doing is putting down some hot glue and gluing down each rope. This rope is, I think, the 8-foot brown rope. So it's kind of a medium size width. And I'm just going to do that on all of the veins of this leaf. I did think about a little bit making this a 2-tone, like with the brown inside and then like the white rope from the Dollar Tree on the outside. I think that would look really cute together too. But I want you to be able to see the outline of the leaf, so we're going to do it all in the same brown rope. So once I have all of those pieces down, we can go ahead and cut out the center part of the leaf. And I left enough room where I can just hot glue that all down into that bar. I'm working on my silicone mat, so it doesn't really matter if I'm getting hot glue anywhere, and that always is helpful. Now I'm starting a new package of the rope to go around the edges. And what I'm doing is just kind of working one section at a time because it kind of has all these crazy curves, and I want to make sure that it stays glued down in place before the hot glue gets hard. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that all the way around and frame this out. This would be really cute if you wanted to do like some fabric or something like that behind it as well. You can make your leaf any color. You can make it blue. You can make it orange. That would be really cute as well. And I did consider doing that for a minute, but I decided to leave it open like this. So we have the rope glued on all of the surfaces of the leaf. Now it's a little messy on the back because of all the hot glue going everywhere. So I just use my heat gun and go around and clean that up a little bit. Doesn't really matter because it's on the back, but just trying to make it as neat as I can. And then to burn off any of the fuzzies from the rope, I'm just going around with a lighter and burning off any little fibers that might be sticking out, and it just kind of cleans up the appearance. Now I thought we could decorate this more for coastal fall, and so I thought we could do like a big bow on the top of it. I kind of want to hang the leaf upside down. I was trying to decide what to use. I do go with this wide wired light blue ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree. And we're just going to make a big chunky bow. And let me show you how I did that. I just went ahead and did equal loops on each side. And then I'm going to do 3 sets of those. So just folding in the middle, trying to keep my loops about the same size, and then leaving some left on there to form the other tail of our bow. This is a really easy bow. All you need is a zip tie. And I'm going to take a zip tie from the Dollar Tree, pull that around there, and cinch the bow closed. And just cut off the excess of the zip tie. Now, when you do put the zip tie on there, make sure you try to get it in the center. Otherwise, you're going to be a little bit off center. And this has a light wire in there, so it's real easy to kind of pull this out, bunch it, arrange it, however I'm going to think it looks good. Just want a big, fluffy blue bow for the top of this rope leaf. I'm going to take a little bit of twine from the Dollar Tree and just tie a very simple hanger to the top first. And then we can attach the bow here. I want to make both my tails the same length, so I have those pulled down. I'm just going to dovetail both at the same time, so they'll have a similar appearance. Now, I thought I could just hot glue the zip tie down on the rope, and that's what I did at first. It's such a big bow, though, and it's in such kind of a crucial spot that I didn't really think that it was going to stay on there too well. So I do go back with some twine and tie that on, and that probably works way better to attach that to that reform. I'm so happy I found this reform. I think it's so beautiful. Now I want to do a coastal touch, and so I'm going to use one of these little sand dollars from the Dollar Tree Shore Living. I like to paint mine ivory with acrylic paint because it has a little bit of a gray tinge. I think this makes it look a little bit more real. I thought that would be a really fun decoration for the top of our little coastal fall leaf. Kind of like that. Now, I did have a little bit of paint on the back of that, and you'll see in a minute, I did get some on my bow. I thought it needed a few more decorations, and so I got some of these little burlap leaves that are kind of the same shape from the Dollar Tree, and they have little wires on them. And I thought 1 or 2, I ended up going with 2, would look great, and I'm just kind of pulling that over the top of the bow with the wire pointed down. And then I just flip that over and hot glue that down to make sure those leaves aren't going to go anywhere. So just kind of shaping my bow up a little bit. It's a little smashed, but it's still got a little bit of room. And then I'm going to glue the little ivory sand dollar right on top. And that's going to bring the whole piece together. I think this turned out so beachy and so fun for fall. I just love it. I'm so glad I found this. I would love to see it. If you make one too, you'll have to make sure to post it in our Facebook group so that we can all see your wonderful ideas. And this is how mine turned out. I was really pleased with it. I think it's so cute. Okay, our next Coastal Fall DIY, I'm using a wood round from the Dollar Tree, a wood acorn, and some of those little blue pebbles from the Dollar Tree. This little round wood piece, I guess, from the Dollar Tree is just going to kind of be a background piece. I like to layer my Dollar Tree signs. It makes them thicker, and they look a lot more high-end that way. So I'm just going over that raw wood with some ivory acrylic, and it didn't give me great coverage, so I do have to go in with a second coat of that to give me that ivory white background that I'm going for. Now, I want this project to be coastal and beachy, like our first one, and so once I get that all ivory, I do go in and distress with a chunky brush from the Dollar Tree and a little antique wax by Waverly, and just kind of distress lightly all over, kind of working in one direction, just a very light dry brushing, and then go over that with a baby wipe to kind of blend it and make it look even a little bit more subtle. And then I'm just going to use the hanger that came on it. That's fine. I'm just going to put the little hangers back through the hole, and that will be the background piece for our acorn. Now, I saw this wood acorn and I thought I could do something really beachy and cool with that. I kind of wanted it to be a blue acorn for my coastal theme. And so to do that, I thought we could use those little blue pebbles from the Dollar Tree. I love those, and I've used those before for other DIYs, and they always turn out so cute. They are heavy though, so I need to use a strong glue. So I'm going to use some of this tacky glue from the Dollar Tree and go all over the acorn part with a very good, healthy coat. And that's going to be like the base coat that we can sprinkle all of the little blue pebbles on top of to glue down. I've made other items with these blue pebbles before. I know the main thing you have to remember is to kind of let it dry overnight before you try to do anything with it, because you have a lot of rocks like being glued to a vertical surface there. So I just spread out a nice layer of the blue pebbles all over the acorn part. I don't want to cover the cap. I have another idea for the acorn cap. Once I get that down, I'm going to go in with some of this aerosol spray glue from the Dollar Tree and spray a good coat of glue on top. And then start the drying process with my heat gun, and then I'm going to go in and hit it with another coat of that spray glue. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and use some of this driftwood that I get at Target. It's back like with their plants and stuff like that. I think normally it's like $10 a box. It does go on sale a lot though, so watch your sale ads. I always try to stock up on this driftwood. It's a vase filler while it's on sale. And I'm just going to start picking out pieces of that's going to fit like the cap of the acorn. And we're going to do a coastal driftwood acorn cap on this. I thought that would give it a nice beachy feel, and it's going to give like a nice woody appearance to the top of the acorn. And don't be afraid to like overlap, and you just it doesn't have to fit perfectly like a puzzle, as long as you can get the pieces to cover up most of the background. We're going to be good. Now, once I get like all of that covered, I do want like an equal depth, kind of like a kind of rounded appearance. So I do kind of make like the middle part like a little bit higher by doing another row of the driftwood filler. That looks pretty good. Just another piece maybe right here. Now you could leave it like that. I think that looks really good, but it was a little too light. I thought maybe it might be a little washed out against that ivory wood round, and so I decided to stain it just to bring out the color a little bit. Usually driftwood's not quite this light. So I'm just using Antique Wax by Waverly and a chunky brush, and I'm just going to lightly distress all over our driftwood, kind of bringing out like the wood grain, and definitely giving the project a little bit more contrast. Then I'm going to follow that up with a baby wipe so it's not quite so dark and extreme. And you can also use that Antique Wax by Waverly for any like remaining parts of the sign that you might be able to see of the wood sign underneath, just by getting a little bit of antique wax on there. And that looks super good, so we can start thinking about putting this thing together. I don't want all my pebbles to fall off, and it is still very wet, but I can go ahead and do this step, I think, without any problems. I kind of want the acorn to be at an angle like that, so I'm just going to go ahead and put down a thick layer of hot glue where the acorn's going to sit on our little wood round, and then carefully glue that down, trying not to disturb any of those little blue pebbles. I did an Easter chick for Easter with these blue pebbles, and it turned out so cute. And I also did a turkey last year for Thanksgiving with them. Absolutely loved it. Now, I thought the wood round looked a little plain as is, and so I thought I would use some of this rope from the Dollar Tree. This is that same rope we used for the leaf. I think it's the 8-foot brown rope from the Dollar Tree. And we're just going to simply frame this out with that. I can't really lift it up because, again, all my pebbles are wet. So I'm just putting glue along the inside of the rope, kind of working one section at a time and gluing that to the wood round. It gives a nice brown border that ties in with that brown driftwood, and this just really finished the project off and made it look so much more high-end. I think this turned out so cute. I love an acorn for a fall sign, and you know I love a beachy one even more. So once I get all the way around, I just cut it to size and glue that down. And basically that's it for this little coastal fall DIY. We have a little blue pebble and driftwood acorn sign. Now there is a little bit of fuzzies on that rope around the edges. And so like all projects, I just go around it with a lighter, trying to burn off any fuzzies. And you can also do that with like the hanger of the wood round, just to clean it up a little bit. And this is how it turned out. I think it's so cute. What do you think? I am very pleased with it. I love it. I think it's so pretty. And this is how it looks the next day, hanging out, because I did let that sit overnight to make sure all my pebbles stayed down. And you know what? Every single one of them did. None of them fell off. So that was great. Hey guys, I wanted to take a moment to tell you about my private Facebook group. I will post a link below. You can see what all the other crafty beach bums are working on. Also like my Facebook page if you could. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest at Crafty Beach, on YouTube, and I would love to see you across all of those social media platforms. Okay, our next DIY, I found these cute little pumpkins, I think last year at the Target Dollar Spot. You can kind of use whatever you have. The Dollar Spot and the Dollar Tree like have tons of these. But I thought I would use some of these little silicone molds to kind of do like a wood carved feature for the front of the pumpkins. But if you don't have those, you could always use these little craftwood pieces and the sea turtle and the seahorse from the Dollar Tree. That would probably work as well. I had these already. I bought these on Amazon, and I will try to remember to post the link to them. They are great. They're like for like cake decorating, but I like to use hot glue and fill them in and make cute little items that you can decorate things with, and very coastal. And it's going to give me this great like hand carved looking 3D seahorse and sea turtle. So the only thing you have to worry about is trying not to get too much in there. You can kind of clean it up a little bit before it goes in, but I just take it and I put it in the freezer for about 5 minutes until that sets up, and we have our little creatures. So the pumpkins that I got are the perfect color of beachy blue. And so really I only have to work on these little molds that we made. So this is the sea turtle one. It's so cute. If you do find that you have a little extra hot glue, places where it shouldn't be, you can trim it up easy enough. I like to trim mine with just scissors until it looks exactly how it's supposed to. You can also underfill it a little bit to try to avoid getting any of that overfill on your mold. And so here's our little pieces. I'm going to first paint them ivory with a brush and some ivory acrylic paint going over the front of all of them. And that's going to give me a coat that I can't distress. I want them to look like, you know, driftwood, or like they are like whittled out of wood. And I want to attach that to the front of my pumpkin. So this is just a very easy DIY. And I'm using some Antique Wax by Waverly and a chunky brush. And I'm just distressing all over that ivory very lightly. It's going to bring out all the texture and the turtle and the seahorse and make them look even better. Now, when you use a heat gun to dry it, just be very careful. You don't want to melt your hot glue. But this is what we end up with, a cute little turtle and a seahorse for the front of our little beachy pumpkins. And again, I love this color, so I don't have to do anything to this one. I decided to kind of put it in between the little folds of the pumpkin. I thought it would sit in there nicely. And then I just use hot glue to attach my little hot glue seahorse to the front there, making sure I get all of it down. And you know what? This project was so easy, and I just love how it turned out. It's so cute. It took these really cheap pumpkins and made them look so much more high-end. Now, if you're not lucky enough to find the perfect pumpkin to start with, you can use any color and then just paint it to this beachy blue color first. And I'm just gluing on my sea turtle. This one sticks out a little bit more than the seahorse, but I think they look super cute. I love them. Now, the stem on my pumpkins were a little plastic and cheap looking, so I thought they would look better like with twine. So I'm just going to use some of that very thin twine from the Dollar Tree, tie it around, spin it around until like almost all of it's covered, just using hot glue to secure the end, and a very easy coastal little pumpkin stem. I'm not going to do any tendrils or leaves or anything to take away from the beautiful seahorse and the sea turtle that are on there because I think that is fine. Just burning off any fuzzies, and here we go. DIY complete. We have a little seahorse and sea turtle pumpkins. I think they're so sweet. And this is how they turned out. I love them. They are just so cute. I've had this idea for a while, and I was just trying to figure out how I could bring that together. Okay, our last coastal fall DIY is going to be a thrift flip. I got this for half price like a couple months ago at the Goodwill store. So I think it was like $1.50, and it's a galvanized metal pumpkin candle holder. I thought this would be perfect. Now I'm just cleaning it up a little bit because I want to paint it. I know metal is hard to get like acrylic paint to stick to, and so I'm going to use a little bit of this matte Mod Podge as a base coat before we go in here to paint it. I want to paint it. You could leave it as is. It's because it's pretty, but I really want it to match my coastal fall decor, and I want a nice beachy blue pumpkin. So I'm just doing a very thin coat of Mod Podge on all the different parts of this little candle holder, so that the paint will adhere. And also like to some of the top pieces that I plan to paint as well, like the leaf and the little curly Q at the top. So once I get it covered in Mod Podge, I'm just going to give it a quick dry here with my heat gun. My heat gun, you know, I've been doing this channel for a year and a half. You can really tell it's got a lot of paint on it. But it still works fine. So I want to make a beachy color, blue color, and so I'm mixing half, I think this is Caribbean blue with half ivory to give me a very soft blue. Remember, if you can't find the color that you want, you can always mix your paints and get whatever color you want. I'm just using a brush from the Dollar Tree, and I'm doing a very sloppy blue coat all over because I want a lot of that galvanized metal to show through. That way I don't have to go back and distress it. It's already going to look cool and coastal and distressed. So I am just doing all the sections the same. At the top, it was a little hard to get around some of the decorations at the top, so I did have to switch to like a smaller brush there to make sure that I got all of it. A little bit of the blue, definitely the distressed blue. And then just going in there and quickly drying it. This DIY is going to be a lot of paint, and that's about it, which is usually the case with a lot of my thrift flips. The structure is just so good. So I'm using the ivory acrylic on the leaf because it was green. I thought that kind of took away from it. I thought I would do like a wood appearance to that instead. And then the little curly parts coming out there at the top are rusted. And then the one big one is like made out of galvanized metal. So once I get the ivory on the leaf, I'm going to go over it and distress it again with some antique wax by Waverly. And it brought out like the vein pattern on the leaf. And it gave this cool coastal look. Just wiping off any excess with a baby wipe. I love my antique wax by Waverly. You guys all know this. And then I also use that on this big metal curly piece that sticks out to give the same appearance as rust, like the little curly parts there of the tendrils. And now all I have to do is add a candle. I'm going to glue in a votive candle so it stays in place. And this is how it turned out. I think it's so cute. nice beachy blue candle holder for fall. And this is how it looks. I haven't lit it yet, but I can definitely light this. It's all made out of metal and I don't have anything flammable going on. Okay, it's time for the final reveal. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment your favorite DIY below, and don't forget to subscribe. We're almost to 10,000 subscribers.
Open up the window. I'm breathing in the last of September. I can feel the wind blow, and the late summer sky is like a giant ember. Everything is turning into gold. When the autumn leaves are playing chase, it puts a smile up on my face. They leave their branches one by one and whirl around there just for fun. Some are faster, some are slow, and some are high and some are low, dancing through the last days of September. Since I was a little